Welcome to the Last Minute Fantasy Scramble. My name is Kevin K-Mac McCartney. Alongside me today, we got Bobby Digital Janis. We got John Viveros. We got Bud somewhere around the corner, whether or not his power is on at his house. We will see. He will join us at some point, I am sure. But either way, welcome to the show. And today is a big game. I don't know. I forgot what it is. Oh, yeah, that's right. It is the Super Bowl. And yeah, we got a show to talk about. Last night, let's start out. We had the NFL Honors Awards, and a lot of them were pretty clear about what was going to happen, but some of them weren't so much. I want to start by taking a look at the MVP, which I think was pretty clear for everyone, Aaron Rodgers. Uh, any dispute about that, John?
No, so I definitely fall into the Mike Greenberg line of thought that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football, regardless. Like no matter who you ask, no matter he'd even have he had a very, very good year, but this award is basically going to be to the person who has the best season after Patrick Mahomes if he doesn't have like that outstanding season, just because the bar has been set so high for him. If you will. So, but Aaron Rodgers, regardless, did have the better statistical year, more touchdowns, more less interceptions. I believe the completion percentage was higher as well. Yeah, no debate from me.
All right. Bob, yeah, I think it's pretty clear with this one. Aaron Rodgers just had a good year. I think, as we were talking, a lot of them aren't very surprising. We had Aaron Rodgers coming in as MVP, Derrick Henry, Offensive Player of the Year, and especially knowing from a fantasy perspective, seeing that guy go out there, I don't think that came as much as a surprise. Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. Now, that one came to a little bit of a disagreement. Seeing J.J. Watt coming out and talking about how he believed that his brother should have won instead. Actually went and posted the stats so far to show that T.J. Watt led in every statistical category. But Bobby, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that and why you think Xavier Howard should have been the winner of Deep Boy.
Well, I mean, he led the league in interceptions. I mean, that's just being a biased Dolphins fan. Look, you could make the case for Howard. You could make the case for Donald, who's been so dominant ever since he's been in the league, since 2014. And then also for TJ Watt as well, especially the point you mentioned about leading in every defensive statistical category. So, if I'm not mistaken, I think those three guys were the top three vote getters anyway. I think they're all deserving, and I have no issues with them selecting Donald.
All right, yeah, and especially from an interior lineman, there aren't that many who do it quite like Aaron Donald. Another one of the awards that came out, and this one was another one that was very up in the air and very relevant from a fantasy perspective. Also, was the offensive rookie in the year, in which Justin Herbert ended up taking that award. Now, there were a lot of questions between whether him or the other Justin and Jefferson would get this, but I guess it's becoming more and more common lately to see a rookie quarterback play at this level, but still Herbert just came out of the gates and he definitely looked like the strongest of the bunch from this rookie quarterback class. But I wanted to hear your thoughts on how that award went down, John.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about a little before the show that just Jefferson had such an insane season. It was like the best receiver performance by a rookie, like just period. I mean, he absolutely popped off. 188 receptions, 1,400 yards. He broke Randy Moss's rookie record. Not only just I think just overall like entire like NFL in the NFL and obviously with the Vikings as well. Um, just an absolute stud. But Justin Herbert, not to be knocked either. I mean, he came in the second week, basically cold, like he wasn't expecting to start, and then the freak accident with Tyrod Taylor collapsing along. And he torched it. Like he crushed it. I spoke how many times I loved him. All throughout the podcast season, I was like, this kid is a stud. He's going to be great. He might win you a fantasy league, and he definitely was a league winner type player. But again, also like this is just a quarterback award at the end of the day. Unless like if Herbert didn't have the season he did, I think Jefferson would have won. But at the end of the day, like the quarterback just holds so much value when it comes to like stats and who gets what, and just being the face of the franchise that it's gonna go to a quarterback 9 times out of 10.
All right. And on the other side, we did have for the defensive rookie of the year, we had Chase Young. I don't think that one came as much of a surprise. He just had a phenomenal rookie season. You know that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the league for a long time. Next, I wanted to take a look at the comeback player of the year. This is an incredible story. Just seeing what happened with Alex Smith with the gruesome injury that he suffered back in 2018. And just if you hear some of the stories about his recovery and how it even points his life was in danger, there was a possibility he could have even lost his leg, or the infections could have led to death. Like, he had several surgeries, and to see him back out there on the field, that's inspirational in itself, coming at a backup role. But when he came back in, just the way he played, he was like, he actually ended up having a good year and led the football team to the playoffs. But Bobby, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, no matter what the statistics of Alex Smith would have been, the fact that he, like you mentioned, coming off of that, horrific injury and the recovery and the process that followed, even if Alex Smith maybe only played in a game or 2 games or 3 games, or maybe if he didn't have that good of a statistical year, or even if he didn't lead the football team to the playoffs, I think they should even just rename this award after him based on what he's been through and then him coming back to the field. So yeah, I mean, I have no issues about it. I'm very encouraged by it. I'm very happy for him, and most well deserving.
All right, and another good one. We had Coach of the Year. Man, this is a comeback story as a franchise to see these guys finally in the playoffs, and that was with Kevin Stefanski. Actually came into the Cleveland Browns and did a phenomenal job. Bud, I believe you are joining us now. Bud, how's it going, and what do you think about Kevin Stefanski and his Coach of the Year honors?
I agree with it. I think the Browns did a phenomenal job throughout the season. I mean, especially dealing with what they had to between Odell getting hurt and having season ending and losing Nick Chubb for a little while. And then he comes back and it's like he didn't even miss a step. So they definitely have like good team management, and Stefanski, that's at the helm. And I mean, they finally made the playoffs, and that's a big deal, and it's a step in the right direction, especially when a team hasn't been in so long. And it's something I'm very familiar with, but it's once your team starts getting going and you're able to battle through adversity and somehow make something stay afloat. Well, I mean, that's the biggest thing when you have problems and things happen, and like, or something, it doesn't go your way and you just still fight through and you still make the playoffs, and that, it automatically makes you a contender. And going through all the coaching changes and the people getting hurt and people wanting out and everything else, it's a big deal. So I think it's really well deserved. I don't know that there's another coach I think that would deserve it really this year, more so
Brian
than
Flores.
him.
Sorry, I had something in my throat.
Yeah, he's got a little ways to go. I think Sean McDermott's ahead of Brian Flores in my opinion, but
no, I actually do agree. I think that Kevin Stefanski is really deserving for it. Brian Flores made a couple of decisions throughout the year that I didn't agree on. I still trust that he is leading the Dolphins in the right direction. They're definitely making steps going the right way. But, Bobby, I know you have some thoughts about that.
I'm sorry, you were cut off that last sentence. What did you say?
Brian Flores, thoughts about his coaching throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, look, I agree with Stefanski as Coach of the Year. I mean, I've talked about him numerous times on this podcast, the job he did with Cleveland. I mean, Bud talked about it. They're in the right direction. They made the playoffs. They really turned that franchise around, and they dealt with injuries all year with Nick Chubb and Odell Beckham Jr. changing the culture. Brian Flores, I mean, I think the Dolphins are headed in the right direction as well. I mean, you just look at the culture change. He came in 5-11 last year, but started to pick it up a little bit second half of last year, and then this year 10-6, just missing the playoffs. But 10-6 in most years makes the playoffs. So I definitely agree, Stefanski for sure over Flores for Coach of the Year this year. But both coaches, I believe, have their franchises heading in the right direction.
All right, so now we have the assistant coach of the year in Bud. I'm gonna let you take away this one because I know you got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, man, Brian Dabble. I'm not surprised. um, uh, I had a feeling that there was going to be some kind of recognition. I'm really happy that he got it. I mean, it really showed this offense was super high powered, and it wasn't a completely Josh Allen's going to run all over the place. Like, he helped develop. And I mean, it's mostly Brian Dabble, but also in part thanks to Ken Dorsey being quarterback coach. They worked really well together with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I mean, there's not really an award for it, but most improved player is definitely Josh Allen, just based off his last few years. But you kind of see the scheme that Dabble ran, and it turned into anybody could catch the ball kind of deal. The only thing that I would have to say that I'd like to see an improvement on would be a running game. But I mean, Josh Allen, just his numbers were just incredible this year, and it really shows. And that's Brian Dabble, just basically working a scheme that benefits his quarterback and allows him to develop at the same time, if that makes sense. But it was really cool to see. I mean, at this point, the coaching search is done. So I'm hoping he stays another year. Like, what the hell? I'm surprised that he didn't get hired. I really would have liked to see him go to San Diego or Los Angeles Chargers, excuse me. But that didn't happen. So I'm really hoping he's here again for another year, and the Bills try to make another run at it. And I think this award just kind of furthers that and shows that he's there to get the job done. So I'm all for it.
All right, yeah, another big award handed out, and I know that they talk about this being the most prestigious award. That's Russell Wilson winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and yeah, I believe that is the only award that they actually wear on their jerseys. So I know a lot of players like to have that, and that's for his Why Not You Foundation. And I think that about wraps up the important ones. Not much else going into it. Yeah, play of the year, the Hail Murray, Kyle Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. Fantasy player of the year, Josh Allen. So there's another one for you, bud. FedEx Air and Ground players of the year, Aaron Rodgers, Derrick Henry. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But we do have a game today, and that is the Chiefs and the Bucks. And if you're watching, we're doing things a little bit differently this time. If you're listening, you're getting a similar show. But on our Twitch and Facebook streams right now, we do have a Madden simulation going on for the game. I think the Chiefs are up 7-0, but I didn't see who scored there. Wasn't paying too much attention. But yeah, it's a good start for the game for the Chiefs. So we have our game tonight. And I'm going to start with you, John. You haven't been in the last couple of shows, so I'd like to get your thoughts specifically on why Tom Brady is going to another Super Bowl and what was his path to get there, and how is he still doing this at his age?
Yeah, it's quite impressive. As much as it pains me to say, Brady just finds he's at the end of the day, he's just a winner. Freaking winner that I've had to deal with for 20 years. I just hate him. No, but just like this team, it's like they're going on the back of the defense. Like, if you look at Brady's drives, especially against the Saints, like he had a lot of short fields, and even like he was playing to lose that game. 3 interceptions in the third quarter, and that defense manned up and stepped up for him. Sent it in a tough road environment, even if obviously not the crazy fans, like the pre-COVID with the Packers, but it's not easy playing in freezing cold temperatures in Green Bay. But no, this team is definitely solid. Todd Bowles has that defense really clicking. Former Jet, just saying. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. He said. I mean, he said he wants to play till 45, and there have been rumblings that he may even keep going. I mean, if he's still playing at this high level, so we'll definitely see. And the Chiefs defense is definitely, I wouldn't say ripe for the picking, but he could definitely pick them apart a little bit.
Yeah, and if you look at the gauntlet of other quarterbacks that he's gone through for this, having to face Drew Brees, having to face Aaron Rodgers, going up against Patrick Mahomes now, and on top of all that, he had to start with Taylor Heineke, who might be the greatest of all four of them. But yeah, he's still proving himself, and I hate it. I hate him. Like I said in the last show, as a Dolphins fan, I wasn't sure what my feelings would be of Tom Brady leaving the Patriots. Would I still hate him going to another team? And the answer is absolutely yes. I still can't stand him. I still can't stand his face. There is actually, Bud showed me this earlier, a good T-Mobile commercial that apparently is not airing during the Super Bowl, but with Tom Brady and Gronk, and I actually had to laugh at that one. That was pretty good. But, Bobby, why is Tom Brady here?
I don't know. Avocado ice cream? I don't know. Real quick, though, I just pulled something up. Real quick, want to touch on Justin Herbert again. Him and Jefferson, obviously, both much deserving of the award. And I think agreeing with John that QB just holds so much value, and I think that's why they leaned him. But he broke 6 rookie records for among QBs: most touchdown passes, most total touchdowns, most completions, most 300-yard games, most 3 touchdown games, and he was only 39 yards shy of breaking the rookie yardage record. And that was all with Anthony Lynn as head coach. They brought in Staley from the Rams, and now they brought in their OC Joe Lombardi, who, by the way, was the OC for the Lions when Stafford had his best year and they went 11-5. They came out even said that they're going to make sure, and it's a priority to suit the offense around Herbert's strengths. And Lombardi was even talking about running an up-tempo style of offense. So if Herbert can put up these type of numbers with Anthony Lynn and that type of system, I think the sky's the limit for him coming this year. But in terms of Brady, look, we talked about in the previous podcast, when it comes to pure talent, in my opinion, I don't think he's the most talented guy. He's not the strongest arm guy. He's obviously not the most athletic guy. But he has the best IQ in the NFL. I mean, he is just extremely smart. The way he controls the offense, and I do like the way that the Bucs have run their offense, especially in these playoffs. A really nice balance, being able to run the ball really well. And like John said, that's a good point about their defense really stepping up, and giving them short fields to work with. And I think with a player like Brady, with his type of work ethic and his type of IQ and his mentality and his attitude that he brings, I think that affects the whole team, and I think that helps the whole team play with that right type of mindset. And I think you're seeing that as a result. You're seeing other players make plays as well. So the other key thing too, I think Bruce Arians has done a good job of working with Brady. They're doing a little bit of Arians type of stuff, a lot of vertical stuff. We've seen Brady attempt a lot of deep balls more so than in years past. But then we're also seeing a little bit of how they used to run in New England and how Brady likes to do it as well. A lot of dink and dunk, death by a million cuts type of thing. So I think it's a lot of it is because of his mentality and because of the IQ that he possesses.
But I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Buccaneers, and I know they discussed a lot already, but what do you think is the reason that they've made it this far?
Bobby did a pretty good job of hitting it on the head. Tom Brady's football IQ is just ridiculous, and I mean when you put him with a really good coach in Bruce Arians, and you basically give in to everything that Tom Brady wants. He wants to bring his friends there. He wants this. He wants a certain play style, and you give him all the weapons in the world. The offense is just good enough, and the game management is just good enough. I mean, we've seen it time and time again, even when he was in New England, that it doesn't matter how much time is left in a game, and in any game or what the score is. If he's playing, he's got a really good shot of winning. The only way that Philly ended up winning that Super Bowl was just by like sheer trickery and keeping the score up. But I mean, even when they play the Falcons, 28-3, that's something that's always going to be there. But Tom Brady, there's no drop in confidence with him. And I think that's part of the problem. You could sack this guy, he could turn the ball over, and it doesn't even matter. He's still like he's a robot. He's going to try to find ways to win. Personally, I don't like him because I've been a Bills fan, but he is the GOAT. He's damn good, and he's proven that time and time again. And there's no other way to say it. And I do know that they're not favored in this game, but I think he's totally capable of whatever the score is or whatever amount of time is on that clock. We know he can do a 2-minute drill. That's no problem. We know that he could come back and he can rally. And I mean, they did have a couple of bad games this season, but they figured it out. And when he joined the team, and then they're all of a sudden Super Bowl favorites, last year, I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, that's not going to happen. Well, I got proven wrong. I mean, he's taken on some of the best. I'm surprised that they even beat the Packers. To be quite honest with you, I thought the Packers were going to go all the way, but I mean, it just goes to show you he could still hang with the best. It doesn't matter where he is. It doesn't matter who his coach is. It doesn't matter who his teammates are. He's the perfect game manager, and he always will be. I mean, that's it's a reality that we got to deal with. And I mean, we're going to talk about him for years to come, even when he retires. He's the best. I mean, it pains me to say it, but it's true. I mean, maybe Mahomes might overtake that one day, but right now it's Brady's game, and I mean, I'm really interested to see what happens today.
Yeah, and you did bring up a good point. Yeah, he's the best, and I like to. That's very hard for me to admit, but the way I look at this, there's a lot of conversations about who the greatest quarterbacks of all time are, and you could look at Tom Brady and see his longevity, what he's done, but really, I could think of only 1 year that he was actually the best quarterback in the NFL. And if you're looking at the best quarterback in the NFL right now, I think that it just has to be Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes plays at a level that's just better than anything I've ever seen out of any quarterback, including Tom Brady. And I think really what Tom has going for him is his longevity and just the fact that he is a constant winner. Like, if he wins tonight, that's 7 Super Bowls, and he's already gone to 10. It's just insane that he manages to go in year in and year out. It doesn't matter. He switches conferences, now has as many conference championships as Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. It's insane. But on the other side, we do have Patrick Mahomes, and this guy has shown that he is unstoppable. This clearly seems like a dynasty in the making. But John, what way is there to stop Patrick Mahomes, and can these Tampa Bay Buccaneers do it?
So, I mean, it came out that he just learned how to read defenses last year. He was just going on just pure intuition, and that's absolutely insane if you just think about it. Just like he was literally just walking up to the line of scrimmage and doing what Andy Reid told him to do, and he was still finding ways to be like as explosive as he was. But like it just seems it came out that even though if he limps on the field or something to act like he's hurt, and then he'll go and bust out like a 20-yard run or something to kind of like feign the defense. So it just seems like the way that, granted, like the front seven of Tampa is solid, just the whole defense of Tampa is solid. So I think maybe just keep him in the pocket a little bit. Like maybe he'll pick you apart, but don't get him, because when he gets on the run, that's when he's really lethal. He's his insane throwing ability coupled with his with his how he can run. It's like he's almost like the perfect quarterback, and it's kind of insane if you think about it. But I think we're gonna see. I think probably a lot of 4-man pressures. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of blitzes. Probably some. And I think Todd Bowles is gonna do the best he can just to disguise coverages, make it look like man when it's zone on, and vice versa, or maybe do a little mix of cross man stuff. But I don't think. I think blitzing him is the wrong way to go about it, because that's when he starts improvising. That's when you're in trouble, because that's when he finds ways to make stuff happen.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are very good at applying pressure without putting on the blitz. But, Bobby, what way do you think that they're going to be able to contain Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, John touched on it as well. Look, also I want to mention that Kansas City has starters missing on their offensive line, and the Bucks have one of the best D lines and front sevens in the NFL, and they did a good job against Aaron Rodgers as well in against Green Bay in applying some pressure and making him uncomfortable. I think that is their best thing. And look, Todd Bowles, he's one of the, if not the best, one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, one of the best defensive minds right now. And he's not going to make that same mistake twice of what happened last time these teams met. They have 2 weeks to prepare, and I agree with John. I think that they're going to see them just rush for a lot, and that can be to their advantage as well. Like I said, they can get away with it. I think they have that matchup on the line of scrimmage when they're on defense with KC's O-line banged up. And again, like John said, if you start blitzing Mahomes, that's when it's scary. That's when he tries to improvise. That's when you blitz, you leave potentially a one-on-one situation with Tyreek Hill, which is obviously dangerous. You got Kelsey over the middle, and Mahomes is just so good at that now. So I think that, again, that's what they could try to do here. You could see them just rush for a lot and try to win the battle against that offensive line that's banged up for Kansas City.
All right, and clearly the Kansas City Chiefs offense runs through Patrick Mahomes, but their running game has brought a lot of questions of who really is the guy in that rushing game. Bud, what kind of factor do you think that guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Le'Veon Bell are going to play into tonight's game?
I think we'll see CEH a little bit. I know that they've been kind of resting him, but same case with Le'Veon Bell. We haven't really seen much of him in the postseason. It's been Darrell Williams. So I don't know if I really don't know how the situation's going to go. I don't know if they were just like resting him and waiting to the big game and then hopefully break out all the moves. But I mean, anybody's guess is as good as mine. I mean, CEH we know is really good, and but he hasn't really had that super breakout game. I think his best game was actually against Buffalo in the regular season. But beyond that, we haven't really seen anything that's been like, super crazy on the running side of things for Kansas City. But Darrell Williams is there, and I mean, he's proven that he could step in and be able to play on a championship level. Regardless, when he's called upon, he's able to get in there and do what he needs to do. So that's good on that front. But Le'Veon Bell's really the big question mark. Wonder if you're going to see him.
Yeah, and on the other side, we do have a couple running backs. Each of them has shown flashes throughout the season. And John, I'd like your thoughts on who you think the Bucks are going to lead on in the rushing game.
Oh, I think it's hand down has to be Fournette. I mean, he's shown he's been the preferred passing back in passing situations, and he's had the bulk of the carries. He's outsnapped Rojo. Even Rojo was a little banged up. Same with Bell. Bell's been banged up this postseason, so we're not even sure if he's going to be active or not tonight. I think for his sake, he probably will be, just so he can get another Super Bowl to play in. Regardless, though, back to the Bucks, though, I think it's just going to depend on. Even with Rojo, like if he's healthy, I think Fournette has just shown like he's gotten better as the season has gone along, and I think the way you attack this to attack the Chiefs, I think you're going to see a lot of underneath stuff, not necessarily going over the top, going deep. So I think Fournette's going to be a big part of that. So if you're a prop better, Fournette's over under receptions is 3.5, and I think you hammer the over on that one personally. And like I said, Fournette's been very good in the passing game this postseason as well. So I think we'll see a good bit of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tampa Bay is just stacked with weapons, talking about their running backs right there. And you have 3 wide receivers who all could be number ones at the top of the game, depending on what team you put them on. Bobby, I'd like your thoughts on how you think that those 3 guys especially, and I'll throw in Scotty Miller too, how those guys are going to factor in.
Fastest man in the NFL, Scotty Miller?
Yep. Bobby, what are your
Yeah, I
thoughts
mean-
on those guys?
Yeah, I mean they're going to be heavily involved. I just read a report that came out that the Bucks are going to attempt to sign Chris Godwin, who's going to be a free agent after this year, to a long-term deal. And they're all extremely talented wide receivers. Scotty Miller coming along as well. I mean, he had some big moments, especially in the playoffs, especially in the game last time against Green Bay. And again, Tom Brady's going to get the best out of his players, and it's a good type of mix that they have. Mike Evans is that big physical guy that they throw a lot of fades. So you saw against the Saints, they threw a 1-yard touchdown, just jump ball type. He's been doing that all year. Chris Godwin is an excellent route run, an excellent possession type wide receiver that Brady loves. And then Scotty Miller, may not be as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he definitely is the speed guy there, and he seemed to have a connection with Tom Brady as well. And then don't forget Gronkowski either, and Cameron Brate, who's going to play as well. I mean, they, again, against Green Bay, they did a good job of mixing it up, getting guys involved. And the thing is, that's a thing. They're gonna mix it up. I think they're gonna go ground and pound for a while. They're gonna run the ball. They're gonna go dink and dunk. I think they're gonna find Godwin over the middle, and then they're gonna go deep. We saw they attacked vertically against Green Bay. Mike Evans had that longer touchdown as well. So definitely all gonna be involved. I think it's not. I don't think it's one guy that they're gonna have to focus on. But look for all those guys to be heavily involved in the game plan.
Yeah, and I believe that it's a strength of their offense, too, just to be able to attack so many different ways and have all these weapons who could do so many different things, from the running back position to the wide receiver. And, yeah, those tight ends that you mentioned as well, just giving Tom Brady probably his best weapons ever. And I would say that's including even when he had Randy Moss. But yeah, speaking of which, Antonio Brown just caught a touchdown in our simulation, putting the Bucks up 10-7 going into the 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Had Patrick Mahomes throw a rare interception going into setting up the Bucks for that touchdown there. But I wanted to talk a minute about the weapons on the other side. We talked about the Bucks guys, but two guys in particular really stand out for the Chiefs, and that's between Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And Bud, what do you think their involvement's going to look like tonight?
I mean, I think Kelsey's going to get peppered with targets. He's just going to get the ball a ton. But I'm sure we'll see Tyreek. I mean, look what happened last time Tyreek played the Bucks. So anything is possible. But I mean, they're both definitely going to get a lot of work. But don't be surprised if you see some of these other guys get some work too. Whether it's Robinson, Pringle, we saw get involved in the Bills game. I don't even know if he's playing, but if Sammy Watkins is playing, we know that he's capable of scoring or making really good catches, depending as long as the glass in his legs doesn't shatter. He's good. He's good to go. But the thing is like, we talked about the defense earlier, and Tampa does have a good defense, and they are really good about not forcing the blitz. And we saw it. Like, the Bills were putting so much pressure on Mahomes, and they couldn't get a hold of him. And it just shows how versatile he is in the pocket.